Today, the inevitable finally happened. Sony not only announced PlayStation 5, but even gave us firm details on when it was coming. Holiday 2020. If trends are the same as they've always been with PlayStation 3 and 4, this most likely translates to November 2020. Meanwhile, us JRPG fans are wondering what this means for the brand new anticipated game series, Final Fantasy VII Remake, the first game in the series slated for PlayStation 4, launching this March of 2020. But now that we know the PlayStation 5 is coming and when it's coming, it's raised a few questions on what we can expect going forward. We have vaguely known about PlayStation 5 for a while now. It has a solid-state drive and is backwards compatible with PlayStation 4 games. Just recently, from Sony's official blog, we learned some new details such as the controller featuring haptic feedback, as well as what they're calling adaptive triggers on the L2 and R2 buttons. Sony saying on the matter, quote, "Developers can program the resistance of the triggers so that you can feel the tactile sensation of drawing a bow and arrow, or accelerating an off-road vehicle through a rocky terrain." That sounds like a much cooler idea than a touchpad or an LED light that you can't turn off and just drains the controller's battery, so I'm all for it. Given that the system is backwards compatible, we'll of course be able to run the first game of Final Fantasy VII Remake on the new console. But the big question becomes, what of Final Fantasy VII Remake's future installments? Will the first game in the series only have a PlayStation 4 version, and not a proper PlayStation 5 release? President of Square Enix, Yosuke Matsuda, has commented on the matter not too long ago. Game Informer asked Matsuda if Square Enix is having any reservations about having the installments of Final Fantasy VII Remake split between generations, or if the first installment had any chance of making it over to the next generation consoles. Matsuda replying, quote, "It's the hottest topic at the moment, and we thought you might ask that. I believe that our teams have made it so that the game will support both next generation and current generation of consoles. I believe it is being developed so that it will be playable on both. So I'm not really concerned about that, and I believe that fans are going to be able to enjoy it on both, including the next generation of consoles." With him saying that it's the hottest topic at the moment, and him being aware that this question would be asked, shows that him and his team at Square Enix are well aware of the remake being generationally segmented off, and are actively looking into the best ways to approach it. Though what's interesting about this statement is that he specifically mentions the game is being built to be played on both current generation as well as the next. That is, this is a cross-generation game for PlayStation 4 and 5. What remains unclear, however, is that what exactly this means in terms of what's released. Does he mean we'll get a proper PlayStation 5 release with updated graphics and new features for the console? Or does it mean that the PlayStation 4 will receive a PlayStation 5 exclusive patch that makes the game use high-resolution textures and have better effects? Honestly, I'm open-minded to both, though a patch is pretty limited in what it can upgrade, so I'd much rather see a PS5 version proper. And yes, you'll have to rebuy it, but that's the price of upgrading. And your original PS4 version will already work as well, so it's not a big issue. Though I believe we'll be seeing a proper PS5 enhanced version of the first game anyways because, well, money, that's why. As far as future releases go, it's going to be hard to develop this game for both PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Considering Final Fantasy VII Remake Game 2 is speculated to heavily focus on open world aspects, PlayStation 4 might struggle to keep up. Arguably, the first game is already pushing the system to its absolute limits. Building the game for PlayStation 4 primarily will hold the game back, and the PlayStation 5 version is going to be unable to truly shine, and thus it could make it look inferior to its competitor titles, which is something that these companies worry a lot about, especially with a game like Final Fantasy VII, which they've stressed that they want to push the most cutting-edge technology, just like the original did. And so far, the current title is definitely doing that. It's one of the best looking games on PS4. With that said, my gut tells me the next game will be exclusive to PlayStation 5. When you look at games like Kingdom Hearts 3 struggling to even run on the base hardware, in fact the game only runs 720p on the base Xbox One, the need for the next generation of systems becomes very apparent, especially for these ultra demanding games. So Ultima Weapons, will you be picking up a PlayStation 5 at its launch? And furthermore, if Final Fantasy VII Remake Game 1 ends up getting an enhanced version for PlayStation 5, would you rebuy the game for it? Subscribe, click the bell icon, and let me know in the comments below. And if you value my content, be sure to check out the Patreon for the Night Sky Prince. Thanks to people like Peter Campy, I'm able to pump out as many videos as humanly possible every single week, and I absolutely love doing it. So if you want to support the channel directly just like Peter did, be sure to check the link in the description below. Shout out to Peter and the rest of the Ultima community.